I kind of want to investigate this.
The men join a larger group of horsemen, more than a dozen, outside the village. You stay hidden and listen.
Not here in the village. Go. Search the road between here and Clintall again.
The other mercenaries nod and the group rides off. You can't make head nor tail of what's going on here, but you don't like it. You tell the twins about your encounter, and they decide to be especially vigilant over the next days. You spend the night in the smith's house and move on the next morning.
They're hunting after the dwarf merchant. I think they were fixated on us, the dwarf, and they were talking about going to Clintall, which I believe is exactly where our dwarf friend said he was going. Is that him, dwarf merchant? Where's Clintall? Tavern, St. Steepleton. That's Goodwater, Axeldale, Clute Meadow. These locations don't have names. Fallowstone. Where is Clintall? It's the tavern, Scale Brook. I don't know where Clintall is. Can't even highlight that one, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know if that's an actual location we know yet, unless the dwarf merchant's literally on it right now. Which is possible. Yeah, none of the towns we have access to say that. I think the dwarf merchant might currently be in Clintall. Maybe we should just take a quick trip by him.
In the early evening, you make an unusual discovery on the side of the road. A colourful trader's wagon has been carelessly abandoned, with not a soul in sight. You immediately recognise the wagon.
That's Mort's wagon.
I don't like the look of this one bit, Boindil. You take a look around there, I'll stay on this side. Tungdil, you check the surrounding area, and be careful.
This is totally what happened. The mercenaries we just saw were going after this exact merchant. Wow. That's not good. This is really interesting storytelling, by the way, that this is all happening live on the map. I don't know if I've played a lot of RPGs and stuff like that over the course of this channel over the years. I don't think I've ever played anything so far that had this kind of map navigation where stuff was just sort of organically playing out all over the place, and you could easily miss what was going on here. What if you didn't come across the dwarf merchant? What if you came by there and you heard that message but you didn't know where Clintall was or what they were talking about? Or what if you didn't know... What if you just didn't listen in? What if you just saw, oh, those weird mercenaries, they left. End of story. Or you get the specific case where you find the dwarf merchant, you find the people going after the dwarf merchant, and then you find what's left of the dwarf merchant's wagon. Let's check the surroundings. Do I get to do all three things? Let's check for tracks.
You can see a lot of tracks in the mud around the wagon. Hoof prints and footprints from humans in heavy boots. At least half a dozen long ones must have approached the wagon from the woods on both sides. You scan the road and the woods on both sides. Apart from the twins who are fighting their way through the undergrowth within earshot, you can't hear or see anyone. The wagon itself isn't damaged, nor is the drawbar, but the belts and leashes that normally hold the draft animals have been cut clean through. The dwindling daylight provides little light inside the wagon. It smells of leather, spices, and candles. And there's another smell in the air, which you can't quite place. It reminds you of your forge in Lot Yonan's vaults, but different. It is messy, but no more so than you would expect from a single dwarf. The bed is rumpled, and there are tools and leftover materials piled up on the little workbench. There are several cupboards hanging on the right-hand wall. At the end of the wagon, there's a large wardrobe, and next to the door on the left is a heavy wooden chest with rusty metal hinges. As you try to lift the lid of the chest, you realize that the lock has been broken out of the wood. You open the lid and look inside. Amongst clothes and some empty boxes, you find a loot case and a beautiful loot of the kind that humans build, as well as a bag of bread and cured meat. You take the lute. You can't play, but an instrument like this is worth good gold.
I suspect that he's been murdered and taken, so we might as well grab what we can. But that's of course questionable.
You take the bread and the cured meat. The extra provisions should keep you going for a few days. The smaller cupboards are piled high with a multitude of tins and boxes, all filled with odds and ends that the trader offered for sale to customers on his trips. Nothing of real interest. You reach for the knob of the wardrobe, and then stop. The rug in front of the wardrobe squelches as you step on it, as if you had stepped in a puddle. You try to work out what has soaked the rug, when suddenly the door of the wardrobe springs open and something bounces into you. You take a step back, and the realization of what hit you makes you take two more. Lying on the floor in front of you is the body of a dwarf, headless. The head is being cut clean from the neck, but the dwarf's clothes leave you in no doubt that this is Mort, the trader. You take a couple of deep breaths. His head is being cut off cleanly, probably with a sharp blade. A quick glance in the wardrobe confirms what you already suspect. The dwarf's head is nowhere to be seen. You give a short, sharp whistle, and the twins come running at the double. You tell them what you found.
A group of horsemen with heavy boots has been here. And I found Mort in the wagon. Beheaded. I have a hunch that the mercenaries from Fallow Rock have something to do with this.
Wretched dwarf killers!
You can tell that Boindil wants revenge and can understand his feelings well. You wrap the body in linen, dig a hole in the woods, and place the body in it. You lay a couple of his tools and other personal belongings you found in the wagon next to him. You wish there was more you could do for him. You continue on your journey in gloomy spirits.
So now we have an idea of what did it, but we don't know where they would go. I don't think we have any idea where they'd be going and where to find them. Loot. A precious loot that should be worth quite a lot to a connoisseur. 150. Not amazing, but it's something. That's a decent chunk compared to the money we found so far, I suppose. The mysterious horseman. You saw some suspicious horsemen in the village of Valorok. You don't know why, but these people make you feel uneasy. You've made a terrible discovery. Mort, the friendly dwarf trader who you met on the road, has been murdered. His head has disappeared. Well, that's alarming too. They took his head as it'd have to be a bounty. There was a bounty on him. There were mercenaries that were out to kill Mort for a bounty, but where? Don't think we have a direction to expect it to be from, so I don't know. Do I just keep going this way and just see if we discover them on the road? They could be headed towards one of these other settlements. I could be forgetting something, but I don't think we have any detail right now that would indicate which way they were going. I hope I didn't miss anything.
You come across an orchard next to a farmstead and surrounded by several fields of wheat. You don't see anyone working in the fields, but there's a young man lying under an apple tree. He has his legs crossed and a straw hat is covering his face.
Excuse me, but we're looking for a group of mercenaries. Have they passed by here?
The young man is startled. He must have nodded off. He looks around anxiously. When he sees you, the fear disappears from his face and is replaced by curiosity. It seems to you that the man is sizing you up.
And if I answer, what's in it for me?
If you can't help us, we'd be happy to ask the owner of the farmstead. We'll just tell him that the man sleeping in the shade of the orchard sent us. What do you think?
The man seems to size you up, and then a crooked smile spreads across his face.
All right, you caught me. The people rode northwest. But please don't tell Father Mullen.
There's no reason for that if you told the truth. So, northwest, you say?
You continue on your journey, while the lazy labourer sinks back into the grass.
Northwest, you say? Hopefully right here in Clintall. Oh.
The first thing you notice as you enter the village of Clintall is how quiet it is. There is hardly a soul in the streets, and the few people you do see immediately disappear into their houses as you get closer. Boindil draws his axes, and Boendal his raven's beak.
Something's not quite right here. Be alert.
You walk on until you reach the village square. Without a word, men enter the square from the left and the right, cutting off your way. You recognize the leader of the group of mercenaries, looking you over with a satisfied expression. Standing next to him is a frail man with greying hair, who doesn't seem able to cope with the situation. He tries several times to say something, but can't find the right words.
Are you going to kill us just like you killed the travelling trader?
The leader of the mercenaries shakes his head sadly and seems shaken.
You fiends want to lay the blame on us. You damn murderers.
Murderers? Come here, dwarf killer!
Are you denying your terrible deed? You were seen murdering poor old Mort, one of your kind, in cold blood.
The old man points unnecessarily to the leader of the mercenaries.
Ah, the plot thickens. We've been accused of the murder ourselves, which is of course not accurate. Let's see. The third option is a pretty smart-ass response that it makes a really good point, but I kind of wonder if the people we're talking to are smart enough for it to, the point to even matter.
So apparently, you saw us committing murder, but you didn't intervene? And then you overtook us, and only set a trap for us now, and here, several days' journey from the place where it happened. Your story doesn't seem to make much sense.
We knew that the good people of Clintall would stand by us in confronting you. Mort was well known and respected around here.
But how did you know that we would come to Clintall of all places? If you were really tracking us, that wouldn't have been possible. But if you, on the other hand, were the ones being tracked, then it would have been easy for you to steer us into this trap.
He does have a point, Medarin. Why did you?
The village elder stops mid-sentence as the leader of the mercenaries draws his sword. The village elder turns from the mercenary to look at you, and then gives his men a signal to withdraw.
Uh-oh, here comes a fight. Although it looks like we said the right thing to make the actual villagers that are innocent in this matter back off before they get into something that they shouldn't. So now we just need to deal with the mercenaries. But there might be a lot of mercenaries. I should probably do a save the moment this starts, if that's even an option in this setting. I'll try. No one's injured, right? Everyone should be fine, like, as of a while ago. Yeah, as expected. Sure. Start the fight. I can't save. Well, we've learned from in the past that if you lose a fight, you start it over, so there's that. We have 15 mercenaries to beat. Are they coming our way? Are those the villagers? Yeah, they're yellow. Yellow health, so those are all the standard villagers. Ah. Howdy. I believe I found some mercenaries to fight. Let's get this started then. Oh yeah, they're gonna be nasty about it. We'll start off with you. Oopsie. Meant to turn the camera. Whee! Hi everybody. I'm here to make a mess of you. Boindil angry. There we go. It's a good old chunk taken out of you. Oh, you're not gonna last. Oh, we need to back people off of you though. Let's get you over here so you're not in that guy's axe swing, which does a number on you. Ah, you're going down way faster than I expected. Oh, you're in rage mode, so I can't control you too. Great. That's not a good start to the fight for me. Remove one of these guys really quickly so we can add you to the pile.
Oh, what bad luck for you! What is it? What is it?
At least I have a bit of control over him now. I can start with that. Sorry, friendly fire technically. Oh, I didn't get to do it. Okay, having him dash forward was not the best idea, as it turns out. These guys should be able to make this work out, right?
What is it?
Fun time. That's a couple more deaths, right? Are they down?
Say goodbye forever.
Yeah, they are. Okay. There's that at least.
Yes.
Understood.
So back off and try to recover what we can. Ow. Anyone coming our way? Yeah, I screwed things up with Boindil back there. That was a mistake. Thankfully, Boindil's very hard to take down. I was trying to spread people out so we're not stuck friendly firing each other constantly while I use everyone's abilities, but that didn't quite work out. Oh, for a brief moment there I got hope that Boindil was going to get green health back, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. A little bit of green shows up as I move the camera sometimes, so I thought he was going to get back up. Let's see, so those are all neutral. We can ignore them. Looks like a big mercenary group over there, though. Let's see if I can take an alternate path that attracts some of them. Ooh. Archers. Well, we'll have to find our way up there. Let's take this path. By the way, if the screen looks especially like crap right now, I'm just saying preemptively, it's probably it's usually because of rain. Any kind of rain or static or something makes video game recordings look like crap, because the encoder makes it freak out because it's a heavy amount of chaos on the screen. Like if you ever see static on like YouTube or something like that, when someone's trying to put static in their video, usually the static turns into a series of squares that block up all over the screen, and it doesn't look like proper static. And that's because the compression turns into a bunch of squares instead of static, because it just can't render that much chaos at its bit rate.
Yes.
Time for pain. How about more pain? There we go.
Yes.
Decent chunk taken out of a few of you guys. Just gotta make sure they don't stand on top of each other so they don't friendly fire. Ow! Is that friendly fire happening?
Understood. End it.
I am surrounded right now. Alright, this is not the best spot to be in.
Kill. Attack.
Please just don't let him go down. There we go. I have enough for the skill at least. Am I able to hit both these guys? There we go.
Say goodbye forever.
Much better off. Let's have you help real quick. There we go. Just watch out for friendly fire. Watch out for friendly fire.
Say goodbye forever.
Come on.
Too easy.
There we go. This, of course, would be way easier if I didn't screw up and get one of my characters killed, but I'm kind of making it work so far. The next one will be tougher, I think, because they at least had archers or something for me to go after. So I can't pick them back up, can I? The game's never told me I can, as far as I can tell. And I don't think any of my items help me with that, because I don't think you can even use items during combat.
What is it?
Yeah, I think that's that, really. Oh! We've lured one of them away. Well, that's rather adorable. Alright. Fight!
What bad luck for you!
Yes.
Get around. Don't stand in friendly fire range.
End it.
Friendly fire's nasty in this game. Oh, a little bit of friendly fire there too. There we go. Well, that helped our odds a bit, didn't it?
Yes.
Kind of makes me want to see if I can make that happen again a little bit. Oh, wow. Well, isn't that rather exploitable?
At once. Understood.
Oh, I did not mean to walk into that.
On my way.
There we go. Oh, I was trying to aim it at an angle where it wouldn't hit my teammate. There we go.
Yes.
Well, this should be rather easy now. I just noticed that their health drains off the different sides of the screen. He loses the left side of his health, he loses the right side. Unless his health's being rendered incorrectly or something. No, that seems to be the case. Wait, does health drain from both sides simultaneously? Ah, it doesn't matter. Oh. Wow, they really do just come at us like single file. Well, this is rather abusable, isn't it? Alright, Tungdill, get on the side of him.
On my way. End it.
There we go.
Yeah! Huh? I didn't hit you very hard!
How are you guys feeling?
Yes.
Not too tough? Wow.
As good as done.
Just kind of crushing, honestly.
On my way!
Alright, Boendal, you go fight the guy in the back.
Yes, understood.
I'll try to get out of the way. Ah, crap. I'm getting stuck. Ah, we're covered in axes. You know what? Let's have you...
Understood.
Let's just have you run
On
around.
my way.
He'll be fine.
Understood.
He'll be fine. In fact, he's probably going to win before I can even get there.
On my way.
But damn.
At once.
That is a hell of a funnel for friendly fire.
Understood.
Pow! Another one bites the dust! Yeah!
All that work for one last chop. Well, we got him.
The last of the mercenaries falls to the ground, but Boindil is still in the frenzy of battle. You and Boendal have to physically restrain him until he comes to his senses. Otherwise, he would have stormed the houses to find more adversaries. You walk up to the body of the mercenaries' leader and search his pockets. You soon find something. A letter.
An anonymous client seeks dwarf skulls cleanly cut, shorn, and put into jars with honey. 1,000 gold coins will be paid for each skull. Khan, Bounty Hunters Guild Master.
That's bounty hunters hunting for dwarves. Despicable.
You hold the letter aloft so that everyone can see it.
Look, citizens of Clintall, proof that these men are the killers. They are bounty hunters hunting for dwarves.
The village elder comes out of one of the houses, flanked by other villagers. You ignore their weapons, as well as their sinister expressions, and hand over the letter.
It would seem you are telling the truth. And you only killed those who deceived us. I thank you for this.
The village elder signals to a woman, and a few moments later, she brings you food and a bag of gold.
Take this in thanks for your actions.
I think I just made a mistake by showing them that. I think I just told a bunch of people that there's money in killing dwarves. And I think they're going to hunt dwarves. Or us. They might go after us on the road. Alarming. And we're rather wounded, so that's also concerning. Yeah. That might have been a bad call. Also, I need to heal really badly. We don't even have that much money for it, all things considered, either. Well, crap. Well, we've dealt with that. I'm confused. Is Diversion in the South finished or not? It doesn't say it's finished, and now I have seen what it looks like when a quest gets completed. It also says you ignore their weapons and sinister expressions. That really seemed to suggest that they were up to no good. Who's that? Oh, another dwarf merchant. Should we warn them? I feel like we need to warn that guy. Yeah, I'm going for it. Wait, is that the... Oh. That's the... Damn it, that's the cart. I just wasted a few days. That's rather embarrassing if you think about it in role-playing terms, like we're just wandering back and forth. I'd have to explain to Boindil and Boendal that I just walked back and forth for 2 days. For 4 days, technically. I saw the dwarf merchant for a second. I'm like, oh, another one, we gotta warn him. But he didn't move, and I'm like, oh, right, that's the dead guy. He stays on the map for some reason.
The hamlet of Sungird certainly lives up to its name. You arrive as the sun sets behind the tower of a Palandial temple, lighting up its stained glass. There's a shop in the village, and through the window, as well as some everyday objects and food, you also spy a shelf full of books. A small bell rings as you enter the shop. The twins look around, but seem rather disinterested, until they discover a couple of gemstones on display. On the wall to your left is the bookshelf you saw through the window. It's quite unusual for a village shop to sell books. You stroll towards the bookshelf and read some of the titles written on the spines of the books. You know many of the works from Lot Yonan's library.
Oh, by fracas, look, dear brother! The scholar really is looking at books!
It's an interesting selection, Boindle. I could make some recommendations for you.
Boindle throws his arm around your shoulder and pulls you slowly away from the bookshelf.
What if someone sees you? Here, this is more our kind of thing.
You follow him reluctantly and are shown the selection of gemstones.
He doesn't like that I'm being seen in public looking at books. Should I just keep stocking up? I can. I will, apparently. Maybe we can sell off the loot for provisions. I think it's a reasonable trade. Sorry you had to die, buddy. Now we have a lot of provisions, so I can safely go exploring a little bit before I get to my next goal.
Boindle is walking next to you in silence. Now and then, he looks at you from the side.
And you really do like books?
Yeah, I'm curious. And you can find many answers in books.
Won't you have found all the answers at some point?
Quite the contrary. The more books you read, the more questions you ask.
Ah, I knew it. Oh, just a waste of time.
The closer you get to Parista, the livelier the streets become. Many of the large buildings in the city are even taller than the high city wall. But one building towers above them all, the palace. Its dome gleams white in the sun. It is the seat of the Council of Magi, and its central tower, which juts high into the sky, serves as a waypoint for travellers as far as 50 miles away. You reach the Council's palace, but are stopped in front of its gates by a guard.
The Council of Magi is convened to take care of the parish land. They mustn't be disturbed.
The parish land? You mean the barrier? Is there something wrong with it?
The guard shrugs his shoulders.
Won't be anything the council can't sort out.
I wanted to go catch that merchant, but I think they're going to run away as fast as we can follow them, which is rather exasperating. They're on their way down to Black Saddle and everything. So they're trying to deal with the barrier, that something's going wrong with it. I think that's as far as we're going to get from now, unfortunately. I have 666 on gold. Huh. I think I'm going to have to go pick up this book and read it after I finish the game. I don't want to spoil the game because I'm doing a playthrough of it, and I don't want to know about what's happening in advance. So I'm going to have to deal with the game kind of spoiling the book, probably. But my understanding from a few little things I've glimpsed from some reviews and stuff is that supposedly this game is a simplified and kind of abridged version of the book. So there's less to it, and there's that when you read the actual book, there's even more to go through, which should be neat. Not often do you find games that are adaptations of books. And games are kind of better, like at least for fantasy novels and stuff like that, like games might actually be a better way of adapting books. Movies are kind of a crap way of doing it, because movies tend to be only like 90 to 120 minutes long, and books are significantly longer than that. And then you get stuff like The Martian, where I'm sure it's a good movie, but I watched it right after reading the book, and it was like really difficult to stomach how basically all the cool stuff was not there. And a lot of my favorite parts were just removed from it entirely. But yeah, I think I'll check this out after I finish this.
The hamlet of Sungird certainly lives up to its name. You arrive as the sun sets behind the tower of a Palandial temple, lighting up its stained glass. There's a shop in the village, and through the window, as well as some everyday objects and food, you also spy a shelf full of books.
Odd. They actually redo all of the description again as you enter a place the second time. I guess it'll help more if I revisit these much later in the game. But yeah, the writing in this game is pretty sharp just across the board. I'm sure that's partly because of the fact that it's an adaptation of a book. Makes this whole experience pretty enjoyable so far.
You approach the village and can tell even from far off that something isn't right. The smell of burnt wood and death is in the air.